What's up, Ben? How's it going, man?
All right, man. How are you?
I'm all good. Listen, the late game on Saturday in the Premier League is at Swansea. Swansea versus Chelsea. Can Swansea stay up, Ben? Let's have a quick look at the table.
Yeah, of course they can stay up, but they're obviously off the back of a 5-0 trouncing by Man City.
Sure.
They do have a game in hand on a lot of the teams around them, which is good.
Well, not on Southampton. They're on the same points as Southampton. And they're...
Same games as Southampton.
Sorry, same game as Southampton. In general, though, Ben, I'm a bit worried about Swansea. And I want to ask you this question. Have people... A few weeks ago, I feel like everyone was singing the praises of Carvajal. They were all lauding his brilliant metaphors and all of his stuff. Okay, that seems like that was too soon. Okay,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that was too soon. I think the metaphors and the personality are wearing off a bit, which is a bit of a worry. But they've had some hard games lately.
Really? They've had no wins in 6. I'm sorry, I've got to cut you off. They've no wins in 6. They've lost to some good teams, right? They've lost to City and Man United and Spurs recently. But the draws, listen to the teams that they've drawn against, Ben, in the last 6. Huddersfield, West Brom, and Everton at home. They were at home.
Yeah, the Everton game, they actually played well. The West Brom one was away. And West Brom was showing a little bit of form. Huddersfield was away as well, which is not an easy game. And Jordan Ayew was sent off after 10 minutes in that game.
And he's back.
Yeah, so I think but we're really only saying they need one more win, isn't it, now? I mean, more or less, off the kind of 4 remaining games. So I think they'll be okay, but I think it's tighter than we thought.
And could they get that win against Chelsea? Chelsea have actually hit a nice little run of form after a very sticky patch. They've beaten Southampton twice recently. They beat Burnley away as well during the FA Cup final, obviously against Manchester United to round off the season. They've got a few tough games coming up after this as well.
Their fixture list looks harder than Spurs and Liverpool's.
Yes.
Who they would need to kind of take over for the Champions League spots. But I don't know. All the talk out the Chelsea camp after the Cup semi-final was like, we're going to push for 4th. We haven't given up. We know we need to win every game. I think they're prepared for these games. I think almost backs to the wall Antonio Conte's Chelsea are better than the one we saw in the middle part of the season, which kind of just seemed to drift.
Right.
So this side, I think, will be up for it. Giroud's made a huge impression. I mean, you talked about that. He's obviously loved scoring against Southampton, done it in both games. He was important for the comeback in the Premier League.
His goal in the FA Cup semi-final
was terrific. Right, so I think Chelsea come into this in good form. I just wonder whether Swansea will kind of do the similar job to what they did over Liverpool and Arsenal when Carvajal's kind of revolution was underway. So it's difficult to call this one. I think Swansea will be well up for it. It's the evening game, which kind of makes the home crowd potentially more important than the early game.
Yeah. Well, here's how we think they're going to line up again, Ben. For Swansea, the Ayew brothers obviously up front. They've got a few problems. They've got Fernandes out the back, who's injured. They've also got Narsing, who's also got a bit of an injury. He went off in the last game. I think Nathan Dyer might get a game in here. Just to say, he's coming down to one of his last few games. He's going to be off in the summer. He's out of contract.
Linked with Milan as well.
He's actually been quite good whenever I've seen them play. And then for Chelsea, I mean, it's just the big names. I think this team pretty much picks itself.
We've still got Alonso out it's the last game, right, of the suspension.
Correct.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how Swansea approach the game. Obviously, they've played 3 at the back under Carvajal, but if Fernandes is out, then they probably won't. And also, when they beat West Ham at home, the 2 Ayew brothers work like maniacs. I think they're going to have to do that again. I mean, this is the sort of result you wouldn't be that surprised if Swansea won.
No.
Or got a point, because it can happen at this time of the season. A relegation threatened side pulls it off. But I think Chelsea are going to have too much for them. Also, I think Chelsea are more focused than they have been for a while. And I think Chelsea will have too much for them. And, Hazard can win these kind of games on his own. And I think Giroud lifts Hazard. Williams played well all season, possibly without scoring the goals and getting the assist that he deserves. And obviously Kante's enormous, huge player. I just think Chelsea will have too much for Swansea here.
In general, Ben, I want to ask you about Antonio Conte, though. Conte, we still think he's going to leave right at the end of the season.
Yeah, we do.
But where the hell is this guy going to go? Because the options seem to be evaporating day by day. Early on this week, we've heard that Carlo Ancelotti is basically going to get the Italian job. That was one of the jobs that Conte was linked to. PSG, that's going to Tuchel. I mean, where the hell is Antonio Conte going to go if he does leave Chelsea? And is there a chance that Chelsea, he might end up staying because he's under contract until the end of next season?
He could end up staying. I think that everyone kind of says is that the relationships of the club have just hit breaking point and he will leave. I think there might be also be a lot of brinkmanship here because Conte wants the rest of his contract probably to be paid off. Chelsea want him to resign so he doesn't get paid off or gets less money. So we might be waiting for that. There's also talk of Koulibaly, isn't there, from Napoli to sign him, and that feels like a Conte signing.
Yeah. Although how much, one of the things about Conte is how much control over the signings has he had.
Yeah.
Just in general, and also...
Well, who did Chelsea get as well?
Well, that is what I'm telling you, but not just who did Chelsea get. Chelsea might be... could be crazy this summer, okay? Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs, potentially, could all be looking for a manager. The three top clubs in London.
The funny thing is...
Who would you go to?
Right, the funny thing is, you would be... The two of the London clubs would be wise to take the other one. So Spurs could do with Conte, winning mentality, etc., and Arsenal could do with Conte as well.
Everyone wants Poch.
Everyone wants Poch. So some of these clubs, but I just don't think they would do that. Conte is obviously well paid.
It's going to be fascinating.
I think PSG should have gone for Conte, by the way. I think he's a much better manager than Tuchel, who's good, but he's not proven enough. Conte's well proven, and I think he would take them far in the Champions League, which is really what they want.
So it's all going to be interesting. Let's get back though to the Swansea-Chelsea game. Let's make some predictions. I think this is a very, very tough call to make. Obviously, Swansea need to win to stay up. Chelsea need to win to keep up their top four. I'm going to go for a result that makes no one happy, a draw. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going for a Chelsea win, mainly because I'm a Spurs fan. I'm getting worried they could catch us. I think they'll put the pressure on for Monday night when Spurs play Watford, which is also more of an interesting game than you might think, because actually Watford are down there as well. I think Chelsea will win, and I think they'll keep this run going. And then it could impact the Conte situation.
So listen, tell us what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.